I'm not going to start these videos this year with a song, I promise. Honesty's a virtue, ba-rum-ba-bum-bum. Okay, yes, it's November, but you got to get in early with this Christmas gift-giving lark, and Benji Claus is here to help. And so this most winning of series commences with our lightweight board game gift ideas, certain to absolutely positively tickle the pickle, especially for those that like their complexity on the low end of the spectrum. I know, why not take a look at previous videos from this category that we put out over the last couple of Xmasses, because they're still well valid and chock full of ideas. Enough plug-in then, let's count together from 1 to 10. Number 1. Seven Wonders Architects is another addition to this gloriously draft-tastic series of board games, and so far the one with the lightest touch on the table. Stripping back to the very basics of picking the best card from multiple choices, here laid out in front of and in between your fellow players, all with the aim of constructing an architectural wonder that will last through the ages. What this provides that its predecessors didn't is an accessible means for younglings or those new to the hobby to get to grips and feel rewarded by identifying what their best possible option is at any given time. And with 5 different categories of cards encompassing resources, construction, the sciences and military might, it's all very smooth to teach and light and breezy to play. Number 2. Canvas, as you taking up the mantle of a painter taking part in an art competition. Yay! Mechanically that means layering partially transparent cards on top of one of each other, with the hope that the combination of the iconography found on the card that's referenced during scoring and the actual painting itself aligns with each game's scoring objectives. It's deliciously simple in that regard, but not always as easy as you might think when you mesh them together. There's also a scalable cost to the cards you pick, as the more they stay in the market the cheaper they get. And look, this is very clearly a sexy game. Production values are eye-catching to say the least, so kudos. This feels familiar and a little bit different, all rolled into one. Number 3. Marvel United brings some cool looking pop art whatever the chuck miniatures to the table, but this is more about the cards and the quote unquote storyline they lay out. You see, you've got 6 random locations spread out in front of you, and each player picks a superhero and takes its associated deck, and then you face off against the villain and the stuff they put in your way. The rest of the game is picking from your hand of cards, getting the benefit of the previous cards played as well, and taking various actions like moving, smashing henchmen in the face, rescuing civilians, and dealing with secondary threats. Deal with 2 of those 3 and you'll weaken the villain enough for you to fetch him and finish him off. Rudimentary mechanics for sure, but a nice lightweight action economy puzzle for players to relax into. Number 4. Adventures of Robin Hood takes a familiar story and transplants the set into a changeable board with funky looking miniatures. But said minis do serve a purpose, as movement is portrayed by their scowl, moving them end to end across the board as you take actions. But all that miniature wargaming like presentation is underpinned and narrated by a hardbound book, with its contents a cross between a drip feed rulebook and choose your own adventure. And really it's this component that does all the heavy lifting. It's like reading a book with accompanying imagery, or like role playing with a map and a little less open-endedness. Yes, there are some mechanics, some resource management and skill checks, and your decisions will affect the game, but really you're just along for the storytelling ride. Number 5. New York Zoo is what happens when Uwe Rosenberg takes a chill pill in between meaty Euros and throws animal breeding and a puzzle up in our grill. Building animal enclosures, introducing new animals and rearing their offspring is the theme of things, and placing polyominoes and tabling animeeples is its nuts and bolts. The principal idea being you combine enclosures and animals in such a way that they breed and make little baby wooden animals, at which point you then race to fill up the board, rinsing and repeating as you go. At the centre of all this wood is a pink-eared elephant, bless him, that players will move a range of spaces each turn that will dictate the type of actions and tiles you take, and when the making of the children takes place. All good, wholesome fun. Number 6. Libertalia, Winds of Galcrest. It's not the big bombastic Stonemaier game I first thought it was. Having not played the original it was based on, I was surprised to find something simple and elegant with a pirate-tastic theme, combining simultaneous action selection with some spicy set collection, where you're effectively bidding with a hand of numbered cards the same as everyone else throughout the course of a game for booty loot that tallies up to points and that's found on the islands you visit each round. A day phase activates icons on cards first, and the dusk phase takes place similarly whilst people grab their treasure. Each round then acts like a separate expedition, and you start anew with a new crew and the prospect of more freebooting and good times. Number 7. Santa Monica sees you building a beach community in Southern California SoCal, with all the PG-13 action that you would expect that to entail. Like many open drafting games, it's about making complementary choices that allow you to go full gobble up on points. With 2 rows in your tableau representing the beachfront and your boardwalk, and the marketplace of cardboard also laid out that way, although only the frontline cards are up for grabs, with the backline giving you a preview of what's to come, unless you use the in-game currency of sand dollars. The rest is all placement synergy, picking the right establishments and then appropriate inhabitants. Ensure this card goes next to that card, and so on and so forth, until the sun sets on another winning tableau builder. Number 8. Living Forest. As the spiel states, it sees you playing as a nature spirit who's trying to save the forest and its sacred tree from the flames of Onaibi. Here we have a hodgepodge of lightweight mechanics. Deck building meets push your luck, sees you drawing cards from your stash until you eventually draw 3 of the same symbol, gimping your turn with only 1 action in the main phase as opposed to 2, but with the strength of those actions determined by how many matching cards you got. You'll be putting out fires, one of the 3 win cons, upgrading your deck, obtaining passive and one-time bonuses from planting trees on your player board, and so on, with each round ending with the vicious Onaibi throwing obstacles in your way for next turn. There really is a lot to like here. Number 9. Meadow continues the nature-based theme, yet this time brings with it set collection and card drafting with a Laura unique cards to choose from. Thankfully you only have 2 choices to make each turn. Place a token on the marketplace board and draw and play a card, so long as you meet the prerequisites that are already in your tableau, or place a token on the bonfire board, which allows you to carry out special actions and claim goals that net you points. With set objectives laid out each time, you'll need to cleverly use your numbered tokens that dictate what cards in the marketplace you can obtain. This combination of growing your tableau organically and figuring out how to most efficiently obtain what you need is the key to this game's enjoyment. And number 10, Caper Europe, has gone through a few skins to get where it is today, but those revisions have finally resulted in a game that people are taking notice of. Yes, it's only 2 players, but when you're a criminal mastermind pulling the strings, then who's complaining? Pure drafting is where it's at, with you each picking from a dwindling hand of cards and passing the rest to your opponent. First up you pick your wannabe robbers, and then you equip them with special gear that enhances their ability to do the thieving. With a manageable hand of cards to keep track of, and the battle to take home the endgame spoils from each location at its heart, this is tight, fairly lightweight dueling fare that's a nice way to round out this list. And there you have it, 10 ways to make one special someone a happy camper this Christmas of 2022. Don't be afraid to chime in with your recommends in the comments, and be sure to tune in to our upcoming gift guides in the medium, heavyweight and stocking filler categories, ensuring you receive the full range of hobby goodness this festive season. Alas, I have been the voice of Board Game Santa, and this video has ended.